And I'm very concerned about this consultation paper, this competing consultation paper. First of all, it proposes a question on the issue of independence, which is absolutely rigged. It is a loaded question.
And sadly, this consultation paper has done little for those who fear this process is not a fair one.
What the First Minister posited today is a fair and decisive legal question, which I welcome.
The question we intend to put to the Scottish people in the referendum is set out on page 11 of the consultation paper. It is short, straightforward and clear, so let me read it to this chamber. The question is, do you agree that Scotland should be an independent country?
Will high-speed trains be crossing the border? They'll not build the tracks, they'll Scots pay the order. Assertions from Ming, assertions from Moore, assertions we're dewy and stupid and poor. Run with the playbook that's worked in the past. A shotgun or salvo begins with a blast of negative smoke-shades and herrings of red to shut down our thinking and fill us with dread. Kicked out of Europe and out of the cold. Spain will object to re-entry, we're told. They'll not use our pound, then what will you do? Switch to the euro and no gold for you. It's better for Scots to share resources. You can't afford your own armed forces. Kick out the subs and we'll send you the bill. Take back your banks and we're shutting the till. CBI tales that sound like CBBS, written in Whitehall and coming through proxies. The Scots NHS will have a relapse. You can't vote like this, rule of law will collapse. People must vote who no longer live there, and you can't change the age, that wouldn't be fair. We'll bar your drams from our embassy shelf. How can you possibly fend for yourself? The oil will run out, the fish won't swim, the wind won't blow and the tide won't come in. You'll need a new passport, we'll rebuild the wall. We'll spit out our dummy and take back our ball. We demand the results before it's begun, before you finish the consultation. We want it all over before you can blink. No time to think, Scotland, no time to think.
Why would you want to disrupt a single market that has brought us so much benefit? And if it's Alex Salmon, if it's Alex Salmon,
that is scaremongering.
And this,
Independence would not interrupt the single market.
If you actually want to advance a case,
we continue to trade with England.
the minute you say something that they don't agree with, you're accused of scaremongering. That's no basis for having a decent debate on independence.
You've just said that we wouldn't be able to export to the rest of the United States.
Well, that would be
nonsense.
I'm saying that you don't put up barriers.
What barriers?
The barriers that we would...
The single market of the European Union.
The barriers that you would be...
What barriers?
Well, for start, if you had a separate currency, you've got all the transactional costs. You say you want to stay in sterling.
So what barriers are we talking about?
You say you want to stay in sterling. This must, I mean, it's not unique.
I don't know what barriers he's talking about.
There are not many countries that actually adopt the currency of another country.
There's 67 countries out of the 200 independent countries in the world that are in a currency union.
The monetary policy...
Hold on a mo, something's starting to reek. They've just shot their bolt in less than a week. They've flung so much mud hoping some of it sticks. Waste monsters up to its dirty old tricks. With 50 arguments, all mere assertion, and not one fact that's worthy of mention. If you look at what are the actual claims, each single one has been shot down in flames. So what does that tell you about the debate? About the respect they give the mandate? About the tactics they'll seek to employ, building smear upon fear to distract and decoy? Stronger together and weaker apart. Well, why don't you make the case for a start? Best to go sooner than later, they bray. What's all the rush? Let the co-captor say. When they claim to support us, we know it's a lie. So when they repeat it, we have to ask why. We want to see figures, we want to see proof. To wade through the spin and dig up the truth. See, something unusual happened last May when Labour changed tactics and threw it away. The negative trolling to demonise was seen for the first time through reborn eyes. We saw it en masse like a blindfold was lifted. The fragile balance of power shifted. We saw it all right and it can't be unseen. And what we see now looks like a smoke screen. If there's a positive case, let's hear it. Use logic and reason. Be open and honest. If not, then I pray that we make the link. It's time to think Scotland. It's time to think.
But how do we think?
Think.
That's really the key. When we've dug up the facts, how do we see? When facts are objective, the lens will decide. What subjective viewers believe down inside.
Think.
What do you think? The way that you do. What do you think? The way that you do. What do you think? The way that you do. What do you think? The way that you do.
If all that we are is organic matter, your deepest psyche is programmed by chatter. What you watch and read, hear and say goes into the brain and is processed away. Once absorbed, it forms in your subconscious mind your view of the world that's highly enshrined. It's a lens or filter that determines how you will see and come to conclusions. Unionist filters are easy to see when you look through the lens of the SNP, but no one is neutral. We all presuppose, so that's a real battle you have to expose. Presuppositions are what must be true for any belief to make sense to you. That's why condemned and free man will see the same set of facts and still disagree. Presuppositions are like a stronghold. They capture your heart and are last to fold. To know how to break them, learn how they're made. Before you can change them, the lens must degrade. With humble reason, you need to destroy the pretense of logic they think they employ and show them an intellectual cost for holding their stance and remaining lost. So why do you think the way that you do? And what makes the difference between me and you? Burns has the power, the gift to gear us to see ourselves as he does see us. That power is sovereign over this country, and by his grace he'll perhaps let us see the deal and the excisemen outplay their hand. It's time to think Scotland. May God heal this land.
But how do we think? That's really the key. When we've dug up the facts, how do we see? When facts are objective, the lens will decide what subjective viewers believe down inside. The lens will decide. The lens will decide. The lens will decide. The lens will decide.
May God heal this land. May God heal this land. May God heal this land. What do you think? The way that you do. What do you think? The way that you do.